Muhoozi Kainerugaba. It is a name that receives a lot of media attention when it comes to African politics, not only because of his occupation as the Chief of Defense Forces of the UPDF and the son of Uganda's longtime ruler, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, but also because of his many controversial tweets. For example, when he unprovokingly threatened to invade Kenya and capture Nairobi back in 2022, tweeting, and I quote, "It wouldn't take us, my army and me, 2 weeks to capture Nairobi." This tweet sparked outrage among Kenyans on social media that forced him to delete the tweet and made his father to issue an apology to Kenya, apologizing for his son's uncouth behavior. But a day later, Museveni promoted him to the rank of general. So doleful. This wasn't the first time that Muhoozi was clout chasing on X. He had other instances where he received attention online for his controversial tweets, eventually being nicknamed by his allies and opponents as the tweeting general. But on a serious note, who is Muhoozi? What is his story? And what does his existence mean for Uganda and Africa? Muhoozi, which means Avenger, was born on April 24, 1974 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, to Yoweri Museveni and Janet Museveni. Muhoozi was born at a time when his father was in exile in Tanzania, where he was building a rebel group to fight against the dictatorship of Idi Amin, who had seized power by overthrowing Milton Obote in a coup in 1971. During the early years of young Muhoozi, he attended primary school in Tanzania, Kenya, and Sweden, while his father was fighting against Idi Amin and later Obote. When his father finally became president in 1986, Muhoozi, who was 12 years old, returned to Uganda for his secondary education. Muhoozi finished high school in 1994 and later joined Nottingham University in the UK, where he obtained a political science degree in 1997 at age 23. In 1999, whether because of his father's will or of his own, he joined the Uganda People's Defense Force at the rank of officer cadet. It was also the same year he married Charlotte Nankunda Kutesa, with whom they would go on to have 4 kids together. Muhoozi then underwent elite military training in various institutions around the world. They include the Karama Armored Warfare Training School, the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, the Egyptian Military Academy, the United States Army Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth, and the South African National Defense College. At one point, he received military training in North Korea in 2004, as you can see in this picture where he was dressed in North Korean military uniform. The training in North Korea was part of a broader security relationship between Uganda and North Korea. While still undergoing military training, Muhoozi was able to quickly climb ranks in the UPDF, mainly because of his status as the son of Museveni. In 2008, he became commander of the FSC, Special Forces Command, Uganda's elite unit of the UPDF, whose primary responsibility is to protect the president. By 2019, at age 45, Muhoozi held the rank of Lieutenant General. In March 2024, at age 50, his father made him the Chief of Defense Forces, the second highest authority in the UPDF.
And the General Kainerugaba has successfully received the office of the Chief of Defense Forces of the UPDF.
And that now brings us to the present day. Recently, Muhoozi has been trending once again. This time is about him and the Ugandan opposition leader, Bobi Wine. Since Museveni was once again announced the winner of the recent sham elections that were conducted on January the 15th, Bobi Wine protested the outcome, calling the results fake, and urged his supporters to peacefully protest in the streets. Because Uganda is an autocracy, the security forces raided Wine's home a day before the official announcement of the results in a bid to arrest him, only for them to find out that Wine had escaped. Currently, Wine is still in hiding. Him and Muhoozi have been going back and forth at each other on X, with Wine telling Muhoozi to catch him if he can, while Muhoozi has been responding strongly, stating that Wine is wanted dead or alive.
Citizens' intelligence, because that's what you are saying.
Museveni is 81 years old at the time of making this video. He has been ruling Uganda with an iron fist since 1986. During his 4th-year reign, his grip on power has been tested severely. His main threat was first the Lord's Resistance Army, a rebel group that was formed after he took power in 1986. He forced the group out of the country through sustained operations by roughly 2005 to 2006. Currently, his main threat is the ADF, an Islamist terrorist group based in eastern DRC, whose aim is to overthrow his government, but Museveni has managed to contain the insurgents. Other than the terrorist groups, Museveni's other headache has been his own citizens, who have been yearning for Uganda to be a democracy. Museveni has repeatedly quashed their hopes with the repeated rigging of elections and frustrating opposition leaders the likes of Kizza Besigye and now Bobi Wine. Because of the lack of accountability, Museveni has made Uganda a dynastic autocracy where his family is heavily entrenched in the day-to-day running of the nation. What we all know about life is that everyone dies at some point, and Museveni knows that as well. That is why for the 40 years he has been in power, he has been prepping his only son for the throne, ensuring that Muhoozi rises rapidly within the military, up to the point where he is right now, as the second most powerful man in Uganda, so that he can ensure that the Museveni dynasty survives even after his death. When that time comes, Muhoozi will take control of Uganda, ushering in a new era full of uncertainties for both Uganda and Africa.